Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stormy B Man, and welcome to the Stormy B Man channel. This is the Friday night chop session with Stormy B Man, and I am here this evening to talk the good news of boxing for the week and the date of April 12th, 2019. What's happening, YouTube? We're gonna wait for some people to come in. Let's see who we have. John Black Johnny, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight? We're coming to an end of a most busy week in boxing as far as things that are jumping off starting this evening through this Saturday night, which is a very hot evening for us. I am looking forward to some good boxing this weekend. The month of April itself is hot. I mean, as the young folks say, it's lit. There's going to be some bashing going down in the month of April. I think this could be a most memorable month if we get the quality and the efforts of the participants that are set before us. It'll be exciting. 88 Sports Talk, what's good? Thanks for joining me, brother. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the Friday night chop session with Stormy B Man. This is episode number 4. And I am hoping to have my partners jump in with me. And I've sent out some links. I'm just hoping to hear from some folks. Ronald Finkley, what's happening? I missed you last week, man. I wanted you to join us last week. Would you be interested in joining this evening? You can let me know. I'll send you a link if you want to come on, Ronald. You're welcome. You're welcome to be with the Stormy B Man chop session. FOG Boxing Talk Plus, salute family. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for dropping by during the Friday night chop session with Stormy B Man. What we like to do is interact and engage with the chat. We really love to take the questions and concerns and subject matter or whatever. We like to pay attention to that and make it an all inclusive type deal. So, there you have it. Okay, Ronald. Anytime, brother. You're always welcome. You participated in my early show, my first show that I did, and I like what you had to offer. I understand if you like to stay in the background sometimes, and that's cool. I'm that way myself a lot of times, but I just wanted to let you know that the door is open to you, brother. The door is open. I'm trying to figure out where my crew is. Um, I had sent out some links a little earlier and was hoping people would jump on by now. But if I have to wing it, I have to wing it because this is what we do here. I want to say shout out to the LDBC, Lions Den Boxing Community. I want to say shout out to New Media. I found that interview that World Breaker did a couple days ago with Doug Fisher. It was very nice. I like the way that was handled. It was conducted in a manner of which you got a chance to get a little bit of an insight into the gentleman, and he got a chance to get a little bit of insight into what happens with the LDBC format. And I think that both sides learned something, and I think that both sides found out things that we already knew. So checking out the chat here. Got a couple people in there. As we're coming to the end of this week, besides the obvious for Saturday night, anything any of you guys and ladies who might be out there listening have on your mind as far as what you're looking forward to in boxing for the month of April? Because it is a busy month of boxing. I will tell you, a very busy month of boxing. You know, I did a video earlier this week on Sergey Deverenchenko. He's coming back in a match where he's trying to put himself right back into title contention after his rough, uh, close loss to Danny Jacobs. I felt like Danny Jacobs was lucky to get away with a victory in that fight. Deverenchenko is a good fighter, man. He's a guy that has some skills. I can see why Triple G wanted to stay away from the man because he could box, he could punch, he can fight. And my video was kind of a profile on his ability to remain busy in the game when we have so many fighters who are not looking to remain active, and they're looking to take soft touches instead of competitive fights. So someone like him can catch one of these champions sleeping, and he can prevail. One moment, chat. I'm sorry, chat. That was one of my panel members called me on the phone. He was going to say he's jumping in, so I will be joined by someone very shortly. But yeah, Deverenchenko, I think the guy can fight. I think he has some skills, and like I said, Danny Jacobs was fortunate to escape with a victory from this man. Uh, he's going to surprise some people at the top of the division. They're going to find themselves in a real fight if they happen to get in the ring with him. So this is one guy that I would not sleep on. And I know there's been talk that's not favorable to the Eastern European fighters and the guys from Europe and things like that. But when a person is a good fighter, you have to acknowledge that they're a good fighter. And Sergey Deverenchenko is a good fighter. I don't think he's a hype job. I know Triple G has had a lot of hype behind him, but this man can fight. It's a difference between someone who's touted to look good and made a media darling and a person who is actually accomplished and is looking to get that smoke with whoever's available out there to make themselves look better. So, with that being said, you will see the difference when he steps in. You saw it when he fought Danny Jacobs. So, and Danny Jacobs saw it too. So that's what I think about him. I'd like to take a moment to introduce one of my panel members and my partners in crime, Curtis Anderson, known better as on the LDBC community as Kurt Sugar. What's up, Kurt? With you? How you doing, brother?
Hey, Stormy B, man, what's going on, man? What's up, everybody, on this rainy Friday night in Newark, New Jersey? What's going on, Stormy B, man?
Oh man, it's all good. I was just entertaining the chat there and letting them know that we're in a situation for the month of April this year. We are having a tremendous time in boxing where we're seeing so many quality fights, and even if the fights aren't up to the par that we would like them to be, a lot of these matches that are taking place, we're like being inundated with fights for the month of April, and I love it, man. It's like kind of like it's a throwback for a short period of time that we have so many matches in 1 month. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a busy schedule ahead. This weekend you have Shields and Hammer, which is going to be a good fight. Devon Chango versus Kauke, which is going to be a very interesting fight. Then you have fighters that's just keeping busy that should be walkovers, but you never know in the sport of boxing. You got Mogia versus Hogan, and tonight you have Lomachenko versus Krala, and next week you have Khan and Crawford. And on Free Network TV, you have Garcia, versus Granados. And the fight I'm looking forward to is Regis Prograis versus Relic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was a time when we could enjoy fights like this, and it seemed like Don King was the one putting on a card where he'd have a super fight in the main event, or at least his top, his top stable fighters in the main event, and then 6 or 7 undercard fights where at least 5 of them or 4 of them were really high quality matchups. Well, you remember that
Yep.
when Don used to put on those shows like that? I remember he had like Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock, and then on the undercard you have Maurice Blocker and somebody, and then Riddick Bowe or somebody. It's like he would always have these cards that had amazing matchups, and Chavez was usually always on a Tyson card or something. That was a great time in the sport to really see, you know, fight cards where you know you you were not gonna go to sleep in between matches. You're gonna be on the edge of your seat through the whole venue.
Hey, I remember in the mid '90s, Don King had a 5 rematch card. It was by today's standards, it would be a super card. It was great. It was like 4 championship matches, and all the fights were revenge fights. I remember that very clear. I believe it was '95. I mean, he put on great cards. And remember, he had the heavyweight tournament with Mike Tyson, and he had the middleweight tournament. And with Trinidad at the Garden. So Don King, despite what you think about him, he put on the best cards by far in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to take a moment out to acknowledge some people who have flooded into the chat for us. Uh, FOG Boxing Talk Plus, salute. Thanks for stopping by for the Stormy B Man Friday night chop session. And I see we also have Fanon International Boxing Channel. Salute, Fanon. Thanks for stopping by, brother. How you doing? KO. How you doing, KO? I see you out there. Yeah, we just chopping it up on a freestyle this evening. With everything that's going on in boxing, there's plenty to talk about. And what we want to do is keep the chat and any participants in the chat engaged by kind of throwing questions and subject content out and just speaking it up with everybody, because everybody is welcome here. There's no ego. The ego has been kicked out the door, and we just want to say, hey, what's going on with you? Abel Mahari, I sent you an email, brother. Check your Gmail. Check your Gmail, and your the link for you should be in the Gmail. So yeah, Kurt, I want to say, as far as the Lomachenko fight that's supposed to take place this evening, it's interesting that for someone that Bob Arum wanted to tout as great, if not better, than Muhammad Ali, and pound for pound the best in the sport, and this and that and the other, and all these accolades that have been showered upon him with just what, 12, 13 pro fights and 1 loss. Uh, I wanted to say it's interesting that I heard about on World Breaker Fighters channel about the ticket sales, the lack of ticket sales, and also the fact that he's fighting on a Friday night when it's kind of like, as World Breaker said, it's varsity league. You know, it's like it's not the main event. He's not on a Saturday night. He's not challenging the Shields Hammer promotion. So, what do you think about that, Kurt? What do you have to say about that, if anything?
Well, Lomachenko, I have nothing personal against Lomachenko. I'm a fan of his. He's a good fighter. Sometimes you have to ignore the media with Tim Bradley and what people saying that he will beat Floyd. You know, that's just utter ridiculous comparing him to Muhammad Ali. He's not in the same stratosphere as Ali and Floyd. They were special fighters. He's a good fighter, and that's it. People throw that word great around very loosely. He's a good fighter, one of the top fighters in boxing today, because I would never discredit the man. He's a true professional. I think his father's done a great job, with Lomachenko, his son. His father's a very underrated trainer. He reminds me of an American trainer. He does things right. He gives them good advice. you know, uh, he will win tonight. He's 100 to 1 favorite. But the ticket sale, it just goes to show you, in the last 50 years, there's only been like 5 or 6 fighters who can cross over. And somebody has some echo. And
That's me. That's me. Let me mute.
okay. And him selling 3,000 tickets, they should have had the fight in England. He doesn't have a fan base. His fan base is almost obsolete. And like I said, there was an Eastern European agenda, and it didn't work out. White America wasn't fooled. That's what they was counting on. And he's just a good fighter who's dedicated to his craft, honing his skill, and has a lack of a fan base. So that's how I describe Lomachenko. But I would like to see him and Tank fight, in the very very near future, because Krola is just a stepping stone. It should be maybe a 5 round fight.
I see. I see. Yes, sir. I'd like to take a moment out to welcome the rest of the panel who finally shown up there. Abel Mahari and Hyphy, my supporting network there. Um, to you guys both, just got a message that I wanted to say that sometimes I will send you links both ways through the Gmail, also through the Hangouts, because for those people that I'm missing, uh, it's either going to work one way or the other. So I'm sending the links out both ways. So Hyphy, even though you're coming in a little late there, I sent one to your Gmail earlier. So if you didn't get that, I thought I'd let you know that right off the bat. So welcome you brothers to the channel this evening. You guys want to say hello and say what's on your mind for coming to this fine week of April 12th, Friday night.
Okay, I guess I can go first though. I'm kind of driving at the moment though, but what's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight though, man? We got some good fights coming up this weekend with Lomachenko fighting tonight, and then we got Clarissa Shields taking on Christina Hammer tomorrow, and also ironically, that's the first day of the NBA playoffs too. So, it's gonna be a great day of sports this weekend though, bro. So I'm very excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hyphy, what's going on? Would you like to say something? Hyphy, you there? You're on mute, brother. Okay, we'll come back to you, Hyphy. Abel, you're right about that. What we were saying early in the when the cast kicked off here, we were talking about this month is so busy with fights. It's unbelievable that we're seeing so many matches in one month. It's like Friday nights, Saturday nights, you know, week after week after week, and it's I'm loving it. We're looking forward to it. But Kurt was saying that you know, it's kind of reminiscent of some cards that Don King would do in the early and mid '90s when he was matching up so many fighters on a single card, where you know he might do a promotion this month and then a couple months later do another, and it's like you get the same amount of fights in those two promotions, but we're actually seeing it in 1 month, and it's actually pretty much available on either regular TV or uh, on what we say the pay TV like Showtime. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, guys, we got Saturday night. Some people may not care very much, but just to put the information out there, the PBC broadcast where Peter Kid Chocolate Quillen is coming back against was it Caleb Truax, and you know that's a fight on Fox Sports One. So it's like the fights are there. There's plenty to see, you know. And if you got DVRs, get those DVRs going, right?
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I see we got Brown on Boxing who has joined us. What's up, Brown on Boxing? I saw a couple of guys. They were on the Showtime live broadcast chat for the weigh-in for Shields and Hammer earlier, and man, there was some jokers out there on that chat. I tell you, some racists saying all kinds of stuff about the LDBC, picking on Clarissa Shields and her looks and stuff. So I got a little bit outside of myself, and I was responding to those cats on there. So if you guys go back and you look at that live chat and you see Stormy B-Man out there kind of giving them the business, I was representing. So I just want to let y'all know that, yeah, I had my thug on today out there in the weigh-in chat for Clarissa. So just want to say that.
You got your OG thug on?
The OG thug. I was thugging for Clarissa, man. It's like I can't let my sister, you know, had them fools out there on her neck like that, man. I'm sorry. I had to say something. So
No, agreed. I feel you on that. You know what I mean? You know, I really believe that Clarissa Shields gonna win the fight though too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you got to go ahead and shot. But I will say this though too: the same racists that always like to troll around, they don't spend the money on good fights.
no, that's right. For sure.
They broke as hell.
That has always been the case. Matter of fact, those guys, they don't spend the fight money on any fights. You know, that's why they hang on the airwaves and everything to hear what we talking about and to hear what the real voices have to say, just so they can do the opposite.
Yeah, agreed.
So let me ask you this, Abel. Since we're getting close to the NBA playoffs and everything, is there a fight that you see on the horizon that can get your appetite whetted for that, like you do for your basketball? Because I know you're a basketball guy. So is there a fight that's signed already? We're not talking about fantasy matchups or who we would like to see, but who's on contract that we know that's fighting, let's just say over the next month or so, because we've got good fights coming up.
Well, obviously we got Khan versus Crawford. That's going to be coming up soon. We also got Joshua versus Miller there too. Shoot, what else is there as well? I think those are the two at the top of my head. I had to go back and research it too. But yeah, those are the two fights I know off the bat. Obviously, we clarissa Hammer versus Clarissa Shields. It's going to be an amazing fight there too. So yeah, we got a lot of good fights in the mix though, bro. And I'm anxious to see how, you know, Peter Quillen is gonna do in this and tomorrow night as well. I'm anxious to see how, you know, he'll bounce back after, you know, some bumps on the road. You know what I mean?
I'm actually, you know, I want to come back to what you just said about Quillen, but I want to swing it over to Kurt. What about you, Kurt? What's on the horizon that's a signed deal that's coming up that your appetite is whetted for to see, besides the obvious with Hammer and Shields?
Relic and Progress, like I said, Taylor Baranchik, Definitely. That I can't wait for this fight. Charlo and Harrison. That's a rematch that's highly anticipated. You know,
When is the date
Jacobs
of
and
that fight? Do you know?
June, either June 15th or the 22nd or 23rd, mid to
Okay.
late June. You know,
Okay.
and
I didn't know that that was signed already. I
yeah,
didn't know.
I think that's done. Yeah, they're looking for a venue, and Hurd and J Rock, which is May 11th. You know, Wild in Brazil, which is May 18th. You know, along with that's a big boxing day. Noya Nui versus Emmanuel Rodriguez. That's going to be a very good fight, but Nui going to knock him out, I think. Uh, Miller and Joshua June 1st for the next 2.5 months. I'm anticipating a lot of fights. The fights that I mentioned.
Oh man, that is yeah. That's pretty good. Oh, and don't forget Estrada and Rungvisai. That
Yep.
that's that's another fight that is probably going to be a lot hotter than the first fight because those two guys fought the first fight. It was kind of like a Barrera Morales thing, or even if you want to go Marquez and Pacquiao, that's kind of how it was between those two guys. They put up their styles meshed very well, and it led to exciting fight. So I'm really looking forward to the rematch between those guys. I actually did a video on them. I know a lot of people are not high on the smaller weight classes and whatnot, but man, sometimes those guys can fight. Man, they're skillful. Abel, what I wanted to come back to you on that remark you made about Quillen. Um, I'm kind of concerned that Quillen is chinny, man. I mean, to the degree, like, you know how everyone gives that consideration to Amir Khan? I think Quillen might be Amir Khan in darker skin. It's like as far as he can box, he can fight, but I don't know. There's something going on with him. I don't know if it's a mental thing where he's not 100% focused on boxing, but if he's not careful Saturday night, this guy could defeat him, man. It's like this guy beat James DeGale. So he's not a chump by any means. And I think he's fighting out of Minnesota. I think Caleb is from Minnesota. What do you
That's
think about
correct.
that?
That's actually correct. He's actually from Orono, Minnesota. There too. It's just about 30 minutes away from Minneapolis. So that's actually correct. But
Okay.
yeah, though, bro, Caleb Trucks could beat James DeGale for the IBF belt. So this is a guy that's not a chump, though, bro. So I've seen a couple fights on this dude. You know, if Peter Quillen's not ready, though, bro, you know, Caleb Trucks is capable of beating him not just on the scorecards, but maybe possibly knocking him out if he fights correctly. You know what I'm saying? So, I the one thing I'll say about, with Peter Quillen is I think it's just more of, either his head is not on into boxing or, when he gets hit in the chin, it becomes a bit of a reactionary. I think the Jacobs fight, hurt his confidence and took a lot out of him, though. You know what I mean? Because when you get hit with that kind of first round knockout, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot out of you. And then it reminds me a lot of when Meldrick Taylor got knocked out by Julio Cesar Chavez, in the second fight. Once he got hit in the chin, he got shaky. And then after that, he was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's what I said in my video that I highlighted that Caleb defeated DeGale and lost a close decision against him in the rematch. Because DeGale was coming off of that shoulder surgery, and he had picked him in what he was thinking was a soft touch. And he went out there. He really battered DeGale in the fifth round and had him hurt and everything. And he ended up winning, a decision over DeGale. And then 6 months later, 5 months later, DeGale won the title back from him. But the guy is not a pushover by any means. And you're absolutely correct. I believe if Quillen is not focused and engaged he's going to be in trouble, because that guy is the kind of fighter. He's an opportunist. You know, he will seize an opportunity. He's had a lot of fights in his career that have been like nip and tuck. You know, it's like when he's lost, it wasn't like he was severely beaten. He was like, it was close, a narrow loss, and things like that. And those guys are dangerous. And he's a blue collar guy. And I like those kind of guys. I like those kind of guys to be underdogs in the sport. What do you think, Kurt? Do you know much about him, or have you heard of him?
Yeah, I heard of him. I seen him fight Miguel before. He's like a blue collar workman, nothing special, straight up and down. But you got to watch out for guys like that, because they're hungry and they can make you look bad. Truex, he's just a hard nosed lunch bucket kind of guy, and those are the guys you have to worry about, because Quillen is a more popular fighter. Sometimes those type of fighters can relax, and Truex can sneak up on them and earn a victory. So Quillen has to be on his game. I don't like his chin, and who knows? You don't know where he's at this point of his career, because his career didn't really pan out like he thought it would. So if Truex went, it wouldn't be a shock at all. A bit of a surprise, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Truex pulled out the victory.
Yes. Hyphy, are you there, brother? I was trying to call on you a little earlier. You were on mute and maybe stepped away. Are you available now? I guess Hyphy is really deep behind the scenes today. I want to take a moment to look over at the chat and make some greetings to we got Brown on Boxing. I think I said hello. World Breaker Fighting. What's up, World Breaker? Great show that you did with Doug Fisher. I was listening in. I really like what was going on there with your interview with him, and how you guys were speaking, from both sides of what the content and subject matter was. Much respect for that. The Perfection, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. I've seen you in a couple of my video responses, so I want to say thanks for that, for your support. 88 Sports Talk, what's good with you? Glad to have you by the Stormy B-Man Chop Session on Friday night, man. Thanks for coming by. Bodrew Thibodeau, thanks for stopping by. So fellas, let's get to the meat and potatoes of Saturday night. Let's hear what everyone has to say about the matchup between Clarissa Shields and Christine Hammer. I'd like to go with you first, Abel. Let's see what you have to say about that.
I'm sorry, I was packing some groceries back to my place. Can you repeat the question one more time?
With the excitement that's looming for Saturday night's fight, what do you have to say? What are your thoughts on it? Your picks? How do you see the fight going? Just like give me a rundown.
Okay.
You see.
Okay. The way I kind of look at it, I've heard a lot of different perspectives and different takes from various brothers in the LDBC. I'm going with Clarissa Shields by late round stoppage or by unanimous decision, one of the two. But the one thing that people need to recognize is that Christina Hammer has a very impressive jab and knows how to keep you out of range and knows how to use movement to try to get you to fight her fight. You know what I mean? And I heard about this earlier this morning with World Breaker Fighting too. I think the one thing that Clarissa needs to be condescending, needs to consider the fact that that Christina Hammer is not going to be an easy target where you're just going to go in there and punch. Because I think in the last fight with Clarissa Shields, she had a hard time, adjusting to what was her opponent's last name? I forgot. Yeah, Curtis.
You talking about the young lady that dropped her, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Well, Hannah Gabriels.
Oh yeah, Gabriels, exactly.
Hannah Gabriels.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because like I'm hoping that with Clarissa Shields that she will step her game up and avoid those kind of amateur mistakes because Christina Hammer, we can make fun of her of everything else. She's no joke. This was going to be a huge test for her, and you know what I mean. But I'm standing by with Clarissa Shields by late round stoppage or by unanimous or by decision.
Okay. Kurt, how do you see it going down?
I said it was a 50-50 fight, man. It truly is, man. I could see Hammer winning by unanimous decision. I just Shields makes she fights like an amateur still. I wish it could have been another year. I'd have been more comfortable of her winning. My heart tells me Shields, but my mind says Hammer. But I'm gonna go out on a limb. For some reason, I think Shields is gonna pull it out. It could be a split decision or a 115, 113 decision, or even a majority decision. If it now this is the fight where both of the trainers, really plays a huge part. I'm not crazy about John David Jackson, but I wish I was training Shields because I see how she can beat Hammer. She needs to get on the inside and smother Hammer without smothering her own work, take the reach away and go to the body. She has to shorten up her punches to be effective. You can't let Hammer, because she's the longer fighter and the bigger fighter. You can't let Hammer, fight from distance because she's going to utilize her jab. So I'm not comfortable picking Shields, but I'm gonna say majority decision or close decision Shields.
Okay. Now for my take on it, I don't know if it's more wishful thinking on my behalf, which it may more than likely may be, but I see clearly the way that Shields can win, but I'm not certain if she will implement the tactics of what I'm about to say. In her fight against Gabriels, she left herself wide open, and Gabriels was able to exploit some weaknesses and openings. And that young lady could fight. I remember I actually saw that fight. Um, it was interesting because I wasn't intending to watch it, but it was the performance of Gabriel that made me stay with it. And I even was there for the knockdown and everything. And I was impressed with how Shields handled the adversity. But for this fight against Hammer, Hammer doesn't seem to be a person that is a complete fighter. And because she can jab, because she's had the height and the length and the reach, she's strong. But I just think that for a fighter like that, and this is even going into the men's division of things, when tactically, a fighter that's a safety first fighter, keep safe fighter that keep you off with the jab and kind of like just want to, you have to take that away from them. And you take it away with calculated, precise aggression. You don't give them the timing to set themselves in a safe place. You close that gap. You get in their chest. You get in their grill. And I know that Shields can throw shots in combinations and things like that. But say like if she slipped a jab and got closer, it should be a 3 or 4 punch combination, lighten that girl up. And it's also gonna depend on how a referee is gonna referee the fight, because if Shields is able to get in tight and rough her a little bit, is the ref gonna allow that? Because if they're not, then it's gonna make for a difficult fight, sort of like Parker against Joshua. When he got in close, he wasn't able to get that good work going against Joshua because that ref kept breaking him up and separating, wouldn't let him fight on the inside. And that turned into something ugly. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in this fight because Hammer's fighting here in the U.S. for only the second time, but they got to have something in the cards for her to kind of level the playing field, so to speak. So I do think that Shields has the ability, but I don't know if she will be able to implement it. So that's how I see it. I'm looking for a decision, a close decision by Shields. It might even be a knockdown or a 10 count or something like that, or a standing 8 or whatever. But that's the way I see it.
Can I say this? Can I make this one quick point there? That's Stormy B.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that I will say too, with Clarissa Shields, maybe possibly an inexperience factor, because despite the fact that she's earned her title, those 3 major title belts, this is a huge undisputed fight there too. And when you talk about, the ability of using timely aggression, there are times with Clarissa Shields that she has sometimes unnecessary aggression or maybe not calculated aggression where she kind of leaves herself open to get hit. You know what I mean? So I think that's the one thing that I'll be anxious to see how she'll be able to handle under this big stage there too. Does she come in there fighting as an amateur or a disciplined, world champion who knows how to use the aggression effectively to try to go on the inside? And I do agree that how the referee, officiates the fight will determine how this will go. If the referee allows her to go on the inside, then it's going to be a long dog fight.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's how I see that. And I do believe that Shields has closed the gap as far as, like, you can have a person that has experience because they've been in a longer duration and maybe have had even more fights or whatever, but also a person who might not have as many fights, but it's the fighting experience. What did you go through in your fight? Let's just use the example of the knockdown by Gabriel's in this situation with Shields. I was talking with Kurt behind the scenes about it, and I said that what I really enjoyed seeing Clarissa do was her reaction to the knockdown and how she gathered herself, took a deep breath, got up off the canvas within the count, looked the ref in the eye, looked over at her corner, took another deep breath before going back into the fray of action. And she did not show any expression as if like something had just transpired. Where if I've seen guys, even veterans, superstars of the sport, I'll use Andre Ward as an example. When Kovalev knocked him down in their first fight, Andre Ward got up with a smirk and smile on his face, kind of like, oh, you knocked me down. But I don't like when a fighter shows you something. And to me, when I saw Ward's the smile or smirk on his face, it was a bit of a resignation, like, you got me, and I wasn't supposed to get hit with that. I wasn't supposed to, allow you to do that to me. Because even Virgil Hunter, I finally remembered his name, Virgil Hunter told him in the corner, he gave him a pep talk, and he's like, look, we've trained for this. The greats have been knocked down. Ali, all of them. So Virgil had to put him back on his square. The difference, what I saw with Clarissa was able to, in the moment, almost like when Deontay Wilder got, excuse me, fellas, when Deontay Wilder got rocked by Luis Ortiz, and the way he responded to being rocked, while he went toward Ortiz and smothered the follow-up shots and everything and tied him up. He did what he was supposed to do as a pro in the heat of the battle, whereas some guys will fall back, they put their guard up and let you tee off, and you can land follow-up shots. Well, Deontay was like the guy going for the gun. He went toward him, tied him up. Clarissa showed a lot of moxie in doing that and getting up. And I think that helped her in a sense of, you're in a real fight now. You're in a real pro fight. Had that not happened in that fight with Gabriel's, she would not be able to take that experience into this fight. And Hammer could have possibly surprised her with something. So guess what? That's a notch on her belt of experience that I've been knocked down, but I've shown that I can get up and still win. There's some things to be said about that. Now, on the other hand, if Hammer goes down, how is she going to react? I'm not certain if she's been knocked down before. I haven't heard them speak of it, and I haven't followed her career, so I won't say I know for certain, but it would be interesting if she suffers a knockdown or whatever, and how she will respond to it. What do you guys have to say about that?
Hey, what's up, Stormy? I'm up in here now.
Oh, okay, Hyphy, welcome, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I had a little wild story. I just had to hide from the police real quick. I'm gonna get into that another time, though. Yeah, had a little
There
wild
goes the
story.
rent assassin hide away from the police.
Hey, they be
them cops in California have been on high alert lately, man. Be careful, bro.
Hey, they be tripping on niggas for jaywalking and shit out here. So yeah, I had to get away from them real quick. I had to sit and be quiet in this little bar, so I couldn't come on for a minute.
Okay.
but I'm up in here now, man. What's happening?
All right, well, we glad you're okay, brother. We just we're chopping it up on the Clarissa Shields Christina Hammer fight tomorrow night. Right now, at the moment, seeing that you're just jumping in, we'd like to give you a chance to say what you think about the fight. How do you see the fight going?
Yeah, well, shoot. I feel like I guess I feel like it's definitely gonna be like a 50-50 fight. I don't think it's gonna be no fight where somebody just totally dominate the other. I know I could definitely tell that a lot of people, they rocking with Clarissa and they really just want her to win. They supporting her, but I see a lot of people talking about, oh, she gonna knock her out and stop her. I'm sorry, but she ain't showed me that she got no power like that, so I just don't see that happening. Yeah, I think Hammer is definitely more well rounded, obviously. But I think this is gonna be a fight where Clarissa step her game up, and go in there and just fight at like a high level and pull out a close decision. But at the same time, I hope Clarissa don't fall into the same mentality Deontay Wilder had when he fought Fury and go out there and just try to do so well in the fight because it's a big fight and try to score a knockout, because that's gonna mess her up. I hope she don't go out there head hunting, trying to bully her and stuff. But I just see a close fight, and I'm just gonna go with Shields. To rewind back, as far as y'all talking about other fights and stuff, you got 3 good fights. You got this fight tomorrow. You also got Rillick versus Prograis, and you got the rematch between Rungvisai and Estrada. But these is like 3 good fights on paper and in the ring, like close fights. So I'm tripping off how every time I look at one of these boxing channels, I see everybody talking about guys like Tank and all these types of dudes. Like, bro, why are we talking about dudes that's gonna fight a bum ass dude like Gamboa? Why are we talking about mismatch fights? Let's talk about some real even fights.
Hey, you know what, bro? Tank better start calling up Lomachenko's bluff, though, man. I'm starting to lose respect because of that.
Yeah, it's too many good fights on paper. And look, the Estrada versus Rungvisai, the first fight was a good fight. So that's a good fight. And I don't hear no talk about none of these fights. People want to talk about mismatches. Like, come on, man.
Agreed.
Yes, indeed. Abel, on my last comment about the Clarissa Shields and how she handled the knockdown and how I felt like that's going to make her fare at least a little bit better in this fight, having gone through some type of opposition and trial. What do you have to say on that? Do you have anything to add, or would you agree, or would you disagree? What do you think about that?
I do agree with your premise though, but I think that Carissa was able to handle her first moment of adversity there, so she's able to got that in her belt though. But I think that we're gonna see if she'll rise to the occasion and step her game up. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes though, but I can't wait for the fight to happen. So that's pretty much what I got to say.
Okay. How about you, Kurt? Anything else you'd like to add? Hyphy just jumped in there and talked about that Prograis fight that you mentioned earlier. So we could talk about Prograis if you like. If you want to take this conversation in a different direction, because I think we all agree that the Shields Hammer fight is a test for both champions, and whoever is the winner of that fight deserves to be the champion, unless we see some kind of cheating mess go on, which I hope that doesn't resort to that. It'll be a decisive victory as far as scoring. If it's going to be a KO, it'll be a KO, no referee intervention, anything like that. But if you want to take it in a different direction, what do you think, Kurt? What do you got to say?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Prograis in the World Boxing Super the tournament. Like I said, this is the semifinals. Prograis and Relic that will be taking place in a couple of weeks. I like Prograis. Prograis seemed to be like really tough dude, man. He called out people, Crawford and Spence. He don't care who he fights. He needs to improve on his defense a little bit. He get hit with tail end punches, which is not good. But he goes to the body very well. Very underrated body puncher. He's built like a Range Rover Sport. He's not that tall, but he's stout, man. The thighs and calves, and he has a good foundation. I like fighters like that. And I'm looking forward to that because I would like to see him in Taylor fight, but I don't like to look ahead. That's my wish. The Super Six tournament. Super Series. I mean, you got Taylor and you got Baranchik, which is going to be a good fight too. And finally, boxing got it right because Baranchik wanted to. He got his money. He wasn't getting paid, and he was threatening to pull out. And the IBF stepped in and said, "Hey, if you pull out, if you don't defend your title against Taylor, we're gonna strip you." So he got his butt back into line, and he's fighting Taylor. And I think that's May 18th as well in Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm looking forward to those two fights, man, because I want to see who's the winner. It's a good fight for hardcore boxing fans. You got Prograis, Relic, Baranchik, and Taylor, and the winners fight each other. So no matter how you slice it, we in for a barn burner, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I like Prograis. And I think after this tournament, I don't know what's going to happen. He probably fight Ramirez. But expect Prograis or Ramirez to fight Crawford after Crawford dispatches Khan.
Okay. Hyphy, what do you want to add on that about your boy Prograis? Because you came in talking about him, so I take it that you might be excited to see him do his thing. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm definitely rocking with Prograis. It's unfortunate because of the network he fought on, the fight ain't getting promoted. Dudes just ain't talking about that fight, but to me, this next month, well, April and May also, but this is a month of hardcore boxing fans. This is where you're gonna separate the hardcores from the casuals. So it's gonna be some good fights. It's just that a lot of y'all dudes, y'all gotta find other fights to talk about instead of the same stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to that fight. I agree with what Kurt said about him. I want to ask y'all a question as well. Whenever I get a chance.
Shoot.
All right, well, and I definitely want to hear Stormy take on it, being that you train fighters and stuff. All right, so look, this conversation that came up earlier, but why is it that in boxing, why is it that like the challenger has to beat the champion convincingly. But then in other times when it's set up for the challenger to be like the next thing in boxing, oh, the challenger could go in there and, you know, it's like he already up on the scorecards as well. Like, well, like, why is it that the champion or the challenger has to beat one? Why can't it just be an even fight going in boxing? And this has always been an issue in boxing.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. That you know, they act like the champion was wearing his belt around his waist while the fight is going on. You know, you're defending your championship. You know, so it should be even kill when that bell ring. That's just some politic BS, man. You know, people campaign for that. Oh, he ain't beat him convincingly enough. You don't. You just have to beat him. You can win by knockout or 1 point. You know, the only way he keeps his championship is he wins or it's a draw. Anything other than that, you know, it should be, you know, the challenger has just as much a stake of the championship than the champion himself, even though he's the defending champion, if you understand. And, you know, people started saying that and it started building up traction. And Life is Stranger Than Fiction, it start, you know, seeping into the judge's mind and seeping into the boxing world where, you know, challengers fought great and should have won. They said, nah, he ain't do enough to beat the champion. He ain't do enough. The champion should still be the champion. But to me, when the bell ring is even kill, it starts from zero. You know, if you win more rounds than he do and knock him down, whatever, then, you know, you should be champion no matter how you win. Unanimous decision, knockout, TKO, whatever.
Guys, give me a moment and I'll add my piece to that. I want to welcome, first of all, Focus Ball. Thanks for joining us, brother. I told you before last time when you were on with us, you're always welcome as well. Your family here, brother. So if you'd like to chime in and say a little something, please introduce yourself.
Family. Appreciate you, Stormy B. Thanks for having me on. Salute to my boy Curtis. I'm actually out here in Newark, family, so be nice to link up with you one day. Hyphy, my G, Abel Mahari, salute to the chat, and salute to the whole LDBC. What we talking about tonight? Hello?
I think he's on mute at the moment though. But we were talking about you know a lot of the fights that's going on this weekend. You know what I mean? But also we were also discussing over about, you know, Clarissa Shields versus Christina Hammer that's going to take place tomorrow. How do you see that fight? How do you see that fight going down in your perspective, Focus Ball?
So I actually just uploaded a video giving my analysis on the fight, and it's a 50-minute video. I really went in on it. I went in on their backgrounds, who they fought recently, what they're coming off of, and I got to know the fighters a little more. I'll put a link in the chat, and you guys go check that out. But I did a little demonstration on the game plan each women need to utilize in order to effectively get their punches in. After watching everything, first off, people are underestimating Hammer. She's a lot better than people give her credit for, you know? Also, even though she's very good, she's also, I don't want to say basic, but fundamentally sound. She fights like your typical Eastern European, very straight up and jab heavy, everything behind the jab, you know? So there is an element of predictability in her style. She's gonna jab, and when you get past her jab, she turns it into that short uppercut, that in the pocket uppercut. So that's something that Clarissa has to look out for once she gets by the jab. But if I can get my little set up right now, I'm gonna show you guys the proper technique that I think that she should utilize in order to land her shots, right? So I went back and I watched Clarissa's fights, and as I was saying, like, these are the things that she needs to do, I immediately saw them in the fight, you know? She has the ability to walk down Hammer, but also to stay in the pocket and stay in the pocket and counter off of Hammer.
Right.
Let me see.
All right.
One of these. What's that?
I was just going to say, go ahead and take your time, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this little setup going. Someone else can take the wheel for a moment.
All right, for sure, for sure. You know, a lot of the brothers were basically kind of going through those kind of sentiments too. You know what I mean? Because I you know I think one thing that Christina Hammer needs to utilize effectively is her size. I mean her height and also her long reach there too to really offset what Clarissa Shields is going to try to do on the inside. Because I noticed that Clarissa Shields, can sometimes get frustrated, especially if you throw a good jab right at her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts.
Right.
Facts. I agree with that. Like, if obviously Hammer's gonna have to play the outside game, stay long and try to get the jab from the outside, and her typical uppercut on the inside. But
Okay.
I think something that will be good for her is turning her jabs into elbow parries, right, and using that elbow to stifle Clarissa's punches, like wrist to wrist. You get what I'm saying? Like as
Right.
soon as she's throwing those punches, it's like it's almost like the shoulder roll. Counter the punch right there, and then use your elbow and sit on top of her arms, and then smother her, and essentially lay on top of Shields to drain her arms.
Okay. That's a good way. That's a good assessment. So what do you think? What do you think Clarissa Shields has to do to try to counter that if that's going to be the case?
So check it. Her biggest problem is going to be the jab, right? So there's the jab. We got the jab right there, right? Boom.
Right.
She's got to counter Hammer's jab. So when Hammer's throwing that jab, go to the body with your own jab. But instead of going to the body like that, you want to make sure your head is off the line and that the body goes straight, just like, the arm straightens out like that, so you can dig in. That technique can be practiced like this. So here comes that jab right down there, then slip out and back up. So if you notice, when I get that jab to the body here, there's an opening right here for the hook or even for the uppercut. So to get out of there quick and get the hands up. So Shields can jab with her jab and get in, then come around to the body. Once she slips her jab, she can get her head around and crack to the body. When she cracks to the body, she can turn around and crack to the head, keeping that nice tight style. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And step out, bang, and hook right up top.
All right. That's good. That's all right. That's cool. That's a really good demonstration of that, though, man. Salute on that demonstration. So,
hey fellas, I have a question about women's boxing, and I don't know this, so I never profess to know everything. Is punching to the chest or the breast area allowed in boxing?
Titty punches, I'm not sure.
Yes.
And I don't mean it as a trying to be a foolish question, because I had something to say about Focus Ball's particular tactics that he was breaking down there, because I haven't followed women's boxing as intensely as some others may have. I didn't know whether or not if there's a strike zone that's like forbidden with the women because of breast.
No strike zone. They wear like protective gear. If you look at their gear when they fighting, you can go to the body, you can go to the chest. It's fair game.
Okay, well, I have something to say about what Focus Ball was saying there, and it applies in men's boxing, which is why I was going to say what I was going to say, but I needed to find that answer out first. The easiest way, Focus Ball, for Clarissa to take away Hammer's jab would be to slip the jab and counter the jab, but jab her right in her chest. Okay? Jab her chest. When Clarissa shouldn't even be thinking about jabbing her eyes or her face, she should jab the woman in the chest.
Facts.
Because what will happen over a period of time, believe it or not, and this is a tactic for men in boxing too, especially if you have one person who has longer extremities than the other. What will happen over a period of time is you begin to disrupt the breathing pattern and you begin to disrupt the blood flow of the opponent. They don't realize that because it's not a tactic that's honestly used a great deal. But old fighters used to use it tremendously. You jab a person in the chest enough times, you're taking their wind away, you're taking their oxygen away from their blood flow. And also, lastly, what it does, it brings the chin forward. Believe it or not. You jab the chest, the chin comes forward. That's why when you throw the 1-2 off of a jab to the chest and the right hand comes over top, it'll land right on the money. So I don't have confidence in John David Jackson as a trainer. I don't. I don't like the guy as a trainer. Didn't like him as a fighter. But I don't know, again, and I kind of stated this when we got on talking about the two ladies in their matchup. I don't know if Clarissa will be prepared to do what she can do tactically to make this an easier fight than it has to be. Because you have a person that's pretty much one-dimensional. But she has the ability to be multifaceted in there. And if the more dimensions that she can show, the better off she would be. But I'm not certain if that has been conveyed throughout her training camp. I don't know how long she's been with John David Jackson, but I'm not a fan at the end of the day.
I hear what you're saying. I was saying the same thing in my analysis. When I did my breakdown last night, I said Clarissa. The first thing I did after looking at Hammer's skill set was I came up with a tactic for beating Hammer, right? For the necessary things, what Hammer does well. How can we get around that? And when I came up with that tactic, my first question was, does Clarissa have the skill set to do it? So I went through her tapes and I see that she has the speed, she has the pressure, and she does have the boxing IQ. However, she gets, at least from the Hannah Gabriel fight, she gets a little bit wild and a little knockout happy. And basically, it's like she could throw this fight away by not showing up mentally, by not sticking to the skill set that is necessary, sticking to a game plan. She's not going to win this fight if she doesn't stick to a game plan. That's facts. She'll throw it away. But something she said today made me realize that she's aware, because she said, I'm going to stay away from social media, or something to that effect. Because everyone was saying that, hey, listen, on your social media, you're getting a lot of criticism and a lot of things that are going to rile you up, you know? Like, us black people, we get emotional and excited. Maybe not all of us, but me, shit. And she seems excitable, especially by this pressure in the stage. So is she going to get excited leading up to this fight, fighting the fans, the promoters, the writers like fuckhead Steve Kim and shit like that, and waste her energy and come into the ring flat? But she said it, so she's aware of it. So she's planning for it.
Yeah. Again, I believe she is capable of holding her emotions in check. Let's just say this again. A two-time Olympic gold medalist. I mean, that's the world stage, man. Every bit as big as a championship fight, world championship fight. And this young lady brought back 2 gold medals. So she should have ice water in her veins. My thing is, will her corner be able to keep her focus and implement the tactics that are necessary, reminding her of these things? Like I said, John David Jackson is not a person I have a lot of confidence in. Even when he was working with Kovalev, you could actually see some things that he, and we know that Kovalev may not have been listening to him or whatever, but he was there for a little while. So was Don Turner. So, I mean, I just don't have the confidence in John David Jackson. That's all I'm going to say about that. Kurt, you've been quiet a little bit. Would you like to add anything or go in a different direction?
Well, we pretty much broke down Hammer and Shill, so we can go in a different direction. It doesn't matter. We can, talk about any and everything, man. I'm always up for any type of conversation, any fighter.
Okay, there's another fight out there, fellas, that I like to drop a little uh focus on, and then we can move on to anything else. What do you guys think about the upcoming bout between Danny Garcia and Adrian Granados? I think that that's going to be definitely an interesting fight, but I would like to go across the panel and get your opinions. Hyphy, would you like to go?
Nah, I would not like to go on Danny Garcia. Next person.
I think Hyphy is just basically saying fuck Danny Garcia, fuck Angel Garcia.
Yeah, okay. Well, what about you, Abel? You got something to say about the match?
Okay, I guess I'll put my 2 cents in it though. I think I got Garcia by by a unanimous decision though. But I think to me Granados is going to come out and put his best performance out there. But I think that Danny Garcia may take this out.
Focus ball. What do you think?
I mean, Granados always comes and puts his best foot forward, but he's come up short in some key fights that made me think that Danny Garcia will beat him. Coming up short against Broner, and everybody's been punking Broner, so I don't know. There's levels,
Hey, can I ask this question though, real quick, STORMYBMAN, for focus ball? Just one second. I was also thinking about how there was a lot of people that were talking about that Khan could possibly beat Terrence Crawford. Personally, I just don't see that kind of possibility though. What kind of things that Khan's gonna have to do to even possibly pull off a major upset?
I can answer that in one quick response. What Khan could do to pull off the upset against Terrence Crawford would be something that he's never done prior to now, which is why I have no confidence in that taking place. He would have to go outside of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He would have to go outside of himself and do what is uncomfortable for himself. And he's incapable of that. Incapable. Even if he tried to do it for a round, it'll be just that round. He won't go beyond that. But I don't think he will bring that tool to the fight. And that's his only chance at victory, to go outside of himself. So no, he's not going to do that. And this is why, again, I can't stress it enough. The guy is a second, if not third-rate fighter. People are giving him credit for being this great boxer. If he was such a damn great boxer, why hasn't he won more titles? Why hasn't he defeated more top echelon fighters? Why hasn't he become cream of the sport?
Right.
Why? Is it because Mayweather didn't want to fight him? Mayweather was older by the time Khan was doing his thing, and Mayweather realized a lot of the younger guys Mayweather didn't want to contend with. He kind of was staying with his own demographic. He wasn't running from Khan. You know what I mean? He could run Khan into a shot just like Marquez ran Pacquiao into a shot. But, that's not where his focus was. He was looking for maximum dollars over minimum threat. And you can't fault a guy who had accomplished what he accomplished in his career to that degree. So when you get back to Khan, Khan is incapable of stepping outside of himself. Does he have fast hands? Yes, he has fast hands. Does he have good boxing skill? He has okay boxing skill. But he fights like an amateur. If you took the top amateur out of boxing today and put him in the ring with a world champion, he'd get his ass whooped. And that's what Khan has been having done to him. Yeah, he's had fights where they were close. Close decisions, Maidana and things like that. He's been knocked down. He's been knocked out. But where has he beat elite class fighters and shown himself to be elite too. He hasn't. So I don't understand. It's like they give too much credit to people who haven't earned it.
Right.
And the thing about that is it's not a slight on anybody's intelligence, but it is a slight on anyone's knowledge of boxing. Where you see a person who can't do no more than what you've seen. And people talk about Terrence Crawford saying things like, well, Terrence likes to fight in the southpaw style. So if he goes in there with Khan can exploit that because Khan has really done well against southpaws. But did people forget that Terrence is a right-handed fighter? He fights southpaw because he wants to. What makes him think that he's going to go in there against a guy where he is multifaceted and can do pretty much as he pleases? He could be an aggressor. He could move away. He could use lateral movement. He could fight on the inside. He could do so many different things. What does Khan do? And again, at the end of the day, if they get into an exchange and he get hit on the button, you got to worry about that.
Right.
He's not going to stand and grit his teeth and go toe to toe, blow for blow, which is where his chance is. That's his chance. But he's not going to go outside of himself and do that. Why? Because his chin is questionable according to everyone. So there you have it. I'm sorry I went a little longer than what I said, a simple statement, but I had to fortify my statement as well. Does anyone else want to add to that?
No, I agree. I agree with your assessment there, bro. You know, I just never could picture, Khan being, Terrence Crawford, though. That's based on all the stuff that you said. So,
Well, I want to say something. Amir Khan, man, he, usually boxers with fast hands, and I never liked his speed. There's been fighters with fast hands who wasn't that good. Eddie Hobson, just the name, Francisco Bajado, things didn't pan out for them. And Amir Khan, man, he always thought he was better than what he really was. His fans too, he's supposed to be this hot shot fighter coming out the amateurs. But you could just tell with certain fighters, they don't have that extra something, that intangible. He doesn't have that. He's an accident waiting to happen. If he was a car, he'd be a Nissan Altima, with a cracked windshield, flat tire, and the rear passenger side and a blown gasket. That's just who he is. That's just who he is, man, Amir Khan, man. And a guy like Ken Crawford, sometimes, man, I just get the feeling people don't want to give this guy his credit, man. To me, he's the best fighter in boxing. He can switch levels, and he can take his game to another level. And then don't be surprised, and he's gonna outbox Khan, then knock Khan out. And people complain, oh, he knocked Benavidez out, waited 12. That's on purpose. Because he has those attributes where he can outbox you, be winning a fight. If he sees a shot, Crawford has a lot of dog in him. He's going to close the show, and he might, he might just outbox Khan and wait to the right moment so he can land, a very good punch. If he wins by decision, he wins by decision. He's not Ernie Shavers. That's who Crawford is. But he will want to. He will go for the knockout if it presents itself. And they talking about Amir Khan 2013, 2014. You see how bad he looked in his last fight? I don't think his legs is all the way there, man. So if Khan gets him out there in 6 or 7, I will not be surprised.
All right. Hyphy, you want to say something about that?
Man, I just think this is another fight where, people, they just not focused on these other fights, so they just looking too much into this fight based on where Earl is. It's like, bro, set the fight for what it is. Niggas be talking about Amir Khan like this dude's just, this amazing boxer. How come the nigga had a close decision against Chris Algieri then?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. People, Bud, he starts off slow. Bruh, y'all tell me one person Amir Khan fought who was as good as Bud. Like I just think people be looking at and too much into this fight just based off the fact, you know, it's kind of like it ain't no big fights. Well, besides this one coming up, and it's based on the fact that Earl Spence just fought, and then it's a lot of people that's kind of upset because Crawford ain't giving, you know, no black media interviews and stuff. So it's just a whole bunch of like behind the scenes politics. So people just looking into this fight and making it bigger than what it is. It's just yeah,
Hey,
people need to find something to do, man. Just tired of hearing about this shit.
I got a sneaking suspicion about why Crawford is not giving black media no love. I think it's because we're going to ask him some tough questions about Bob Arum. You feel me? Like, so I'm also a really big MMA fan. So sometimes I don't get to keep up with boxing as often as I want to because there'll be like something big going on in MMA. But even when I was a fledgling boxing fan, I had the understanding that if I ever become a boxer, because I'm black, I'm not going to go sign with Top Rank. I never got the impression that Top Rank had the best interest of black people. In fact, I had the perception that Top Rank exists to rewrite the narrative. Because when Jack Johnson beat the Great White Hope, basically it kind of set a certain stage, and they've been trying to reclaim pugilistic supremacy since then. And since they have not been able to do it in the ring, they're like, fuck it, we're gonna do it in the media, in the promotion, with the writers, and in the rankings, the sanctioning bodies. Are there any, like, for example, WBC is owned by a Mexican guy, and they work with Golden Boy. Golden Boy. I'm sure they work with other people. I'm sure they work with PBC too, but they work with Golden Boy, and that's owned by a Mexican dude, and their champion is Canelo, and bend the rules for him and shit. But we don't have that, but we dominate the sport. Or at least not to my knowledge, we have that. But point is, even the most ignorant boxing fan knows that Top Rank, even just the exchange with Mayweather, we should learn that Top Rank does not promote black fighters. They have an Eastern European agenda. That is their agenda. They want Eastern Europeans to have the Muhammad Ali clout. That is clear. So why on earth would the best, the pound for pound #1 black boxer willingly sign with Top Rank when he could have went to PBC? I raise an eyebrow.
Well, focus ball. Not to cut you off, but let me just add this real quick.
Well,
they don't even promote Lomachenko. So there you go. So it's really the way that they do business. You know that you can. I don't even look at that as a black thing, because they look at Lomachenko. What did they sell 3,000 tickets or something? You know, for his fight for tonight. The guy is not being promoted properly. None of them on that side. But I will say this, but and I don't like to talk another man's pockets, okay? Why they do what they do for what they, you know, what price they set for themselves. Because you might have a different price that you set for yourself, and each guy on this panel may have a different price that they set for themselves for what they're willing to do in life for their income. But I'll say this, if he felt that he's being taken care of and his family and everything he wanted to do from this day going forward, how can you fault him for that? He's not living through someone else's lens. He's living through his own. And every man has a right to do that. You could get mad all you want to because all the brothers is over here.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I ain't mad at it. Respect.
No, I'm just saying, you could get mad because all the brothers is over here. But if he decides to say over there, in his mind, he may want to be separated from the brothers that's over there. You don't know. But the thing about it is, he's well within his right to do so. You know what I mean? Sometimes your brother man is the worst man. You know, Look at what Don King did to so many brothers.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, you know, but like I said, I don't like to live in the guys' pockets. I like to talk about what they do in the ring, because that's what we know them for, the ring.
So
We don't know
with
them
that,
for Forbes, huh?
no, so with that in mind, with being in the ring, that was also another thing because I'm like, if he wants to fight Spence, why did he just put himself over in another lane? Why did he cross the street? And you're right, the money's none of our concern. I really don't like the money talk.
When he moved up to welterweight, he said he's willing to take on any other champions. He didn't say no name. He said any other champions. And every single champion that was already at welterweight had no interest in fighting him.
Okay.
But when Danny Garcia moved up from 140 to 147, Keith Thurman was saying, "Hey, Danny, come see me." Sean Porter was like, "I'm over here, Danny." You know, you had guys calling out Danny. You had him when he moved up. When Bud moved up, everybody
It's
lost their
quiet.
tongue.
Hey, Stormy, let me just say this because we definitely getting off track. And this conversation we having, man, we can have a whole damn series on this, and it's probably definitely needed one day. But I'm gonna just tell y'all like this. Look, everybody know most of the people in the LDBC is more dudes from Texas than anybody. So what does that mean? These dudes is Errol Spence fans. I ain't got no problem with that. So they already know Crawford is the biggest threat to this dude. And so, they, doing these subliminal disses and, poking at the dude, even all talking about Bob Aaron right now, because that's a way of attacking Crawford. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth, and y'all know, nigga, this is how I get down. I say people's names. Look, Carl Burrell, Sports TV, that's my guy. I'm hella cool with him. I ain't mad at him. But he the one who started this whole little rant about Terrence Crawford being a coon. He made a video. He called the dude a coon, went off on the dude,
I don't think
and
he's a
everybody been
coon.
running with that. So
Nah,
that's what it is, man. So everybody been running with that this whole week. Y'all already been hearing the stories and stuff. That's what it is.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with him being I don't think he's a coon at all. Like he's never done anything coonish. He's doing his business. You feel me? And
Right.
that's it. Like if that's listen, my only problem is this. Like what I was saying is perhaps he doesn't come to the channels because we might ask him certain questions about dealings with Bob Arum and his decision to go there, and he probably doesn't want to talk about that. And again, without going into money talk, I was watching I think a Fanon video, and they were talking about someone trying to saying that Terrence Crawford owes somebody money and Bob Arum bought it out. So I guess there was just some kind of handling or mishandling or misdealings. Bob Arum was supposed to pay off somebody after he bought out Terrence Crawford's contract and didn't pay him. So Terrence actually owes the money. It's some fucking weirdo debacle. And I'm like, perhaps he doesn't want to come over here because we might, at least black media might question him on things like that. And he's like, you know what? I'd rather keep that shit to myself and just handle my
Focus ball.
Yeah.
And we Hyphy was right. We shouldn't get too far off into this mess because again, we're talking about somebody's economics.
Facts.
At the end of the day, if he owed money, if somebody helped pay it off, what the hell that got to do with us talking about these guys in the ring? Seriously.
Right.
It does. No,
huh?
that's what I was getting at. It does have an effect because
No. You can place an effect on this, but the man boxes, he fights, okay? If the fight can be made tomorrow between him and Earl Spence or him and Sean Porter or whoever, that's what we want to see. I don't really care about what's happening in his personal life with his finances. I got my own damn finances to worry about. And it ain't going to affect me one way or another. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. That's his personal business. Personal. But if professionally he came out and said, I don't want to fight none of them guys, then that's different. Then you can have a hardcore feeling toward him and everything else. But I mean, the economics of things, I mean, Tim Witherspoon was a very, very good heavyweight. Gave Larry Holmes all he could handle. And Don King didn't pay the guy. He tried to sue Don King. Okay, Don King had lawyers and attorneys that hung the man out to dry, where it held his career up for how many years? Kurt, was that Tim Witherspoon couldn't fight, and by the time he started fighting again, he was a aged fighter.
I can't give you a certain number, but it was several years, man. He derailed Tim Witherspoon, man.
Yeah, and that was over money. And the man could have been the heavyweight champion. He could have been the man that Mike Tyson never got past. But it was because of Don King and the mess outside the ring. It was like Tim Witherspoon was put on ice. But Tim Witherspoon was a hell of a fighter. His nickname was Terrible, and it was given to him by Muhammad Ali, who met him when he was a younger man, and he was in Ali's camp as a sparring partner and one of the guys. And Ali said, "Ooh, that guy is terrible." And that's how his nickname came. Terrible Tim Witherspoon. Outside the ring mess. And how many fighters' careers have been ruined by outside the ring mess? If they had just stayed focused in the ring, focus ball, that's a good word, focus in the ring, they would have been all right. Tony Ayala, Johnny Tapia, all these guys, outside the ring troubles, drove these guys right down the drain. Arturo Gatti, men who have lost their lives, not just their livelihoods. Outside the ring stuff, man. That's why if we kept the focus where we should, maybe we can help them to stay focused where they need to be, and we could get what we're looking at, what we would like to see. Because all of that stuff, fans out here talking about, well, he's getting 7 million and he's getting 12 million, and he shouldn't fight him for less than this million. Who the hell are you to judge how much he should make? It's ridiculous, man.
Respect. Definitely wasn't trying. That's not really what I was trying to get at. We definitely were getting off topic. What I was
but I'm not directing my comment at you, but I'm saying over the principle. It's like we could talk about that forever, and it's not going to change because these people are going to do what they're going to do according to their economic requirements and needs. That's why that's the last thing we should ever focus on, talking about their money. The worst thing you can try to do is count somebody else's, man. Seriously.
Agreed.
I didn't mean to shut everybody down. Okay, guys, let's talk about something else. Somebody else. Let's go in the chat. Let's see. Let's see who's out there in the chat. I think we got somebody joined us. Macadon 1. Hey, Macadon 1. Salute, brother. Thanks for stopping by. And we had someone else out there. Johnny, British Boxing Media. I want to say shout out to British Boxing Media for stopping in. Is that a person from the UK? Because I'm not familiar with them that much. British Boxing Media.
Yo, I agree with you 100%.
So,
hey, one thing too though. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to my brother Johnny though, my Eritrean brother there, man. Represent the UK, man. Represent.
Yeah.
Hey, while we transitioning, I'm gonna take another second to go in on another nigga I don't like. Before we get to another topic. Look, last night.
Hold on, Hyphy. Before you do that, why don't we just turn this next segment into, what we said we'll have a moment for that, where we say who you mad at this week or who you want to roast. So we'll take that moment to do that. And we'll let Hyphy kick that off because he got a little anger in him, and we're gonna let him let it out.
All right, well shit, I'm going first then. I'm gonna tell you who I don't like this week, and I'm not going at no damn boxer. I'm going at somebody that be around the LDBC. Last night I was listening to Kurt's show when y'all was talking about the stuff. This dumbass nigga keep bringing up, Tank Davis, watch. Tank Davis, man, trust me. Tank Davis, he be doing his thing. He just be like to have fun, but he's serious when he get in the gym. Tank is a beast. Bruh, this nigga defending Tank Davis and all the dumb shit he doing, that's what's problem with this damn world today. Niggas like Tank AB running around doing all this dumb shit, and it's a dumbass niggas like you that's defending these niggas. So I'm gonna tell you, like, nigga, y'all talking about, oh, Tank, oh, he got a speech impediment. Bruh, this nigga on Twitter talking all this shit. Why this nigga ain't learning how to talk better? And then I don't like this nigga, man. I just don't like this nigga. Look, this nigga hop on Twitter. You could talk shit to all these dudes except for the dude that's in your weight class that can fight you. The main person you should be trying to fight. Oh, you know, Tank, nah, bro, he's serious. Trust me, he's a beast. When that fight happens, watch. I promise you, Kurt, you guys are silly. Stormy, you silly. Look, not only do I not like Tank, Prophet HD, because that's the nigga I'm talking about, I don't like you in real life either. I don't like your ass. Keep your ass away from us, man. I don't like you.
Oh man, oh man. You
All
know,
right,
you know what?
Abel, you could go. You could go next, Abel. Who you mad at, or who you want to roast this week in boxing or in anything?
I don't have much people that I'm angry about per se, though. But I will say that you know, I'm just not a fan of this whole AU, you know, movement going on in the NBA. Always trying to team up together to make the best teams in the NBA, something like that. Like, bro, can we just stay in your original teams and make it more of a competition again? I hate this all buddy
Facts.
BS though, bro. I really hate that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to like a franchise player staying in the original team and then building the player around him, you know, to be champ. You know what I mean? All this teaming up, making a super team and all that shit. Like, bro, I hate that, man. That just
Yo,
like that just denigrates my love for basketball, and it makes it harder for me to like the NBA most times, though. But in terms of boxing, though, man, you know, I got a little one person that I'm not too bonded with, though. Tank Davis acting like a bitch again. You know, born that smoke with Lomachenko, man. After Lomachenko basically went all in on his ass, and what do? What do I hear? Crickets, crickets, crickets. You know what I mean? No sound, no nothing. Like, bro, you gotta go in there and call this dude's bluff, though, man. You know, and put the fork through his ass. You know what I mean? I mean, that dude's been ducking that dude for too. I hate to say it though, man. I think Tank Davis is ducking from this dude. I'm not convinced. I'm convinced by it now. I am. Now I'm done.
yo.
Okay, focus ball. You got somebody who you mad at this week, or somebody you want to roast?
Um, kinda, but I'm a weirdo. I'm a little uncomfortable doing stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
you
I
don't have
wanted
to if you don't want. You don't have to. This is just
I'm
a
gonna
little
comment on stuff.
segment that we created to just blow off steam about whatever frustrates you in the sport or outside the sport or whatever. So
Yeah. I got a few frustrations, but I wanted to touch on something Abel said about basketball. Like, I'm not the biggest basketball fan. Like, my sister is a better ball player than me, and but when I did watch a little basketball, what I'm seeing in today's basketball is that everybody's trying to trade this person and make this. That kind of defeats the sporting aspect of the game, retard. And usually, when you have super teams, it don't work out because there's too many super egos. You need a good leader and everybody to play their position, so to speak. You know. But nonetheless, it seems like a load of shit. You know, you're kind of destroying the sport like that. Just wanted to say that real quick. But something I'm always mad at in boxing and just combat sports in general is what you call it, prima donnas, these hype jobs, media hype jobs, promoters, basically the whole promotion network, all these people that band together to shut out the black fight fan and the black fighter and to try to beat us on the outside. Fuck all them motherfuckers. Y'all know who you are. Fuck Steve Kim, Dougie, not fresh. Both of y'all niggas can have smoke with me. We can get in the ring and you can do a tag team, and I'll fuck both of y'all niggas up in the same night.
all righty then. Kurt, you got anybody that you're mad at this week or want to roast in the sport of boxing or outside?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I can have a roll call, but I try not to get emotionally invested, because boxing brings out a whole lot of kooks and races, and people don't know what they talk about. So me arguing with somebody, if somebody walk past, they ain't gonna know who's the fool. So, I just try not to get into it, man, even though I did lose my cool one time on another website, but it is what it is, man. I'll be like, what, this dude don't know what he's talking about, and by me stooping to his level, I look bad, because boxing is about levels, man, and knowledge and fighting, and it's like when people, say nice things about you, I get a lot of love with my boxing knowledge. So if I'm talking to somebody and yelling and hollering at somebody who's a fanboy, I look bad. So nah, not really.
Okay, much respect on that. I got somebody that I'd like to roast this week, and I appreciate if anybody on the panel could join in and help me, or anybody in the chat that can join in and help me in roasting Dillian White. Get the hell out of here, man. With this guy right here, man. I don't know, 78 gave him a nickname of the Lycan, man, and that shit fits, man. It really does. He out here protecting everybody else's interests except for his own, and he don't even know what's good for himself. He's trying to go to court to get the WBC to mandate for him to be able to fight Wilder and everything. This dude, he could have fought Dominique Brazil to get the #1 spot. He could have fought Luis Ortiz to get the #1 spot. This guy is still running around here, eraser head, trying to figure out a way to get in the back door to a championship fight, man. He could have even had another fight with Joshua if he didn't price himself out of a fight with Joshua. What is wrong with this dude, man? Dillian White, he sucks. Get him out of there. He's a bum. And not a bum as when they refer to boxers. He's just a bum, a dude on the street with an overcoat on that need to be washed and everything and been sleeping in the gutters. That's him, Dillian White. Get the hell out of boxing, man. You're messing the sport up for everybody. And get a haircut while you at it too, man. Running around here. You're another one of them guys with a little bitty head and a big ass body. Look like somebody just took a grape and stuck it on top of something. Get out of here, man. Dillian White like you. Don't nobody like you, man. Get out of here. All right, I'm done.
Hey, Stormy B-Man. One thing though, bro. You do understand that Anthony Joshua likes to sniff around them seats and likes to jerk off at that when he's doing. I mean, he can't help himself though, man. I mean, you got a Tony Billy who likes to fart in the seat every time. You know what I'm saying? And you like to sniff around them seats and turn and just like go ahead and jerk off afterwards. I mean, he can't help himself.
Yeah, man, it's ridiculous. That guy. I mean, he spent more time with drama outside the ring trying to avoid the obvious things that could be made to see the sport progress. He's taking side roads and back alleys and everything, man. This guy's disgraceful, man. Get him out of there. If he was on a stage like at the Apollo, you put that hook around his neck and yank his butt off the stage. That dude is a bum. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
I ain't got nothing to say about that.
I want to like Dillian White, honestly. I want to like him because he's Jamaican. Well, actually, he's UK, but of Jamaican descent or something like that. I don't know. So I wanted to like the guy, but in terms of boxing, he keeps making the wrong move for me to justify being a fan. You feel me? Like, bro, you're running to the principal to arrange something for you so you can cut the line and not do. Man, listen, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that grant. You're gonna skip the line and you're not gonna fight for it. So you're not gonna develop the heart, the cardio, and you're not gonna learn from that fight. And when you do face Wilder, you're gonna get sparked early. So you're only skipping the line to get your ass beat faster. And niggas are gonna remember that you went to court to get that fight instead of, you know, fucking fighting for it. And then you got sparked. And that's not a good combination.
Dillian White is that dude. Say like you know you was hanging out with your partners and you say, hey man, let's go to McDonald's. You know, and you go to McDonald's, you get your Big Mac, you get your big fries and everything. And you say, hey Dillian, what you gonna get, man? Nah, man, I'm straight, man. You sure, man? You gonna get nothing? Nah, man, I'm straight. And you go sit down with your tray at the table and y'all talking, chopping it up, and you get up to go get some ketchup, and he eating your fries. That's Dillian White right there. You know, sucker, man. He a sucker. You know, Dillian White is that dude. Hey, man. Hey, can you come outside? No, man. I got stuff to do. And you know, close the door, close the window, or whatever. You doing your chores in your house, and your back door was unlocked. Here go Dillian in your kitchen. Hey, man, what you doing in here, man? Oh, man, I was just gonna come hang out with you for a minute. Man, get the hell out of here, man. It's like Dillian White is that dude, man. Can't you see yourself strangling that dude? It's like he make you sick, man. And I know I said I was done, but I'm sorry. But Dillian White is the kind of guy that you just want to slap him, man. Just want to slap him because he's stupid. He's stupid.
Look, man. As soon as niggas heard this nigga Dillian White say, oh, we offered Luis Ortiz a fight. Bruh, after a fight, nigga right there, nigga should have known this nigga was lying. I don't need to hear, oh, for 2.6. No, I don't even need to hear that. Niggas already know this nigga was lying, man. You gotta be dumb as hell to believe they actually offered Luis Ortiz a fight for 2.6 million. And I don't even need to hear Luis Ortiz turned it down. You gotta be dumb to even believe he offered him a fight for that much. That nigga's a man. I don't believe nothing that nigga said.
Yeah, it's really.
If you were Dillian White, would you fight Luis Ortiz?
What was that?
If you were Dillian White, everyone on the panel, if you were Dillian, would you fight Luis Ortiz?
Listen, if I wanted to put myself in championship contention, I have to fight Luis Ortiz either before I get a title or while I'm defending titles because he's there. You understand? So, and this is boxing. We strap it up. This is what we got to do. We supposed to get in, mix it up, and go at it. Let's see who the best. And guess what? If we put on a good scrap and you whoop my butt, I might have a chance at a rematch and make some more money. Huh?
Yeah, you know what? Here's my deal. The fact that honestly, because I have fought before, I am a very honest person. Well, even regardless of the fact that I've been in the cage, but I'm a very honest person. And if fighters get scared. They're people. Fighters feel fear. Everyone feels fear. If a fighter is afraid of another fighter and you don't want to go that route because you want to fucking be able to see your grandkids and not slur your speech and shit, cool. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for that. But if you're gonna shit on another fighter, saying he's old and he's whack and you'll knock him out, and you get that chance, and you bitch up, your whole car got pulled.
Look here, man. My old man told me that other guy over there, he bleed just like you do.
Yep.
Got 2 hands and 2 feet just like you do. If you can't get him with your hands, get your feet on him. Put your foot in his ass. Huh? This is what you do, man. This is how you teach your sons to be men. You go out there in your face, you get knocked down, you get fucking up.
Yeah.
Huh? You keep pushing forward. Huh? You don't lay down and turn over on your belly and put your booty in the air. Huh? That ain't no damn man.
This dude is doing. He's like,
It ain't.
That. I ain't fighting no.
You know, it's like you got to tell these guys, it's like they running around like a bunch of, like Black Fight Fan, he like to use the word hoe, right? That's what they running around like.
Exactly.
A bunch of hoes. You know,
What...
they running around skinny jeans and shit. They want to see who look the sexiest and all of that, but ain't nobody trying to beat nobody ass.
Man, ain't men no more.
True story. True story.
No, they ain't men.
Yo, let
It's
me tell you a true
ridiculous. It's
story.
the sport of boxing, man. It used to be called a gentleman's sport because they would shake hands and then go in there and try to knock each other's head off. They ain't call it a gentleman's sport like it's a freaking gentleman's club where everybody in there with sleeveless shirts and bow ties on with greased and oiled up chests and everything like AJ be doing. What the hell is that, man? Running around in speedos on boats and yachts full of men. Ain't a damn woman in sight. What the hell is that? That ain't no damn man. I don't care how many muscles he got. Hell, Clarissa Shields got muscles, and Christina Hammer got muscles. And
My
I'd
girl
rather look
got
at them.
muscles.
They real women. Huh?
My girl
AJ
muscles.
running around here all oiled up and everything, and people all, oh, AJ. Man, fuck that. These ain't men.
These are feminines.
When Big Baby Miller got in his face not at the press conference, but at the announcement of those fights, when Big Baby Miller got in his face, he was looking for somebody to step in between them. And Big Baby Miller talked about his mama and everything. And then AJ exit stage left and shit. He went out the side door and shit.
Yo, I got a clip from that date, from that press conference, and I meant to make a video and I forgot to. So AJ had went into the crowd first off, your opponent just pushed you and told you about fucking your mom, and he pushed you. You ain't do shit but act like a hoe and then get off stage and try to fight somebody in the audience, right? So I guess the dude who was recording, or somebody who was recording, was close to him, and he shouted out, "Sissy, prima donna," and I just wanted to loop that little track for a second.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. If Big Baby Miller, and I ain't no fighter, okay? If Big Baby Miller talk about fucking my mom, okay? Big Baby Miller getting ready to have the biggest sparring match he ever had in his life, huh? And he may knock me down a few times, but he gonna be in the fucking rumble. You understand what I'm saying?
Listen, you ain't even gotta do all that.
And I'm 50 plus. I'm 50 plus. He might be 350 plus, but I'm 50 plus, and I'm gonna put all this 50 plus on his ass. You understand? Talking about my mama. That's where I come from, you know? And if I can't get him with my hands, it better be something that ain't nailed to the floor, because it's going right in his cranium. You understand? Don't you ever say nothing about my mama.
You ain't even gotta fight somebody for doing that. I just give it right back. Like,
you damn right.
Fuck your mama. I'm gonna bust your mom's mouth. She a hoe.
AJ was nowhere near in the realm of thinking about fighting about that. He was looking to get away. He was looking to exit.
Exactly.
But he got 3 or 4 belts over there. Get the hell out of here. Go sit your ass down somewhere. Get them damn titles up.
Hey,
he ain't no damn champion.
Hey, STORMYBMAN, my brother. Would you put Dominic Brazil in the same category?
Dominic Brazil is, he's in the same category, but for different reasons. You know, that guy right there, it's like, you know, they got this show on TV. It's a reality show. It's World's Stupidest Criminals or whatever. That's Dominic Brazil on every damn episode, doing stupid shit and furthering himself from the planes of respectability. You understand? And it starts with his own family. They turning their backs on him and everything. This guy's fucking ridiculous, man. You know, he out here, you're in a man's sport, right? But you can't man up, but you can be, you know, Dominic Brazil, he probably got 911 on speed dial in the corner in his fights, because, you know, if Deontay Wilder hurt him too much, call him, send that text to the cops. You know, he want to get him arrested or some shit.
Hey, that nigga got all the politicians and mayor number in his phone and shit.
It's ridiculous, man. All I'm saying is, I want to see the men be the men in the sport and fight each other. At the end of the day, that's what I want to see. I don't care about their money and all that. They're gonna get paid. They're gonna get whatever they get. But I still want to see the fight. I want to see them mix it up. You understand? I want to see the best doing their thing.
Facts.
All right. Well, I don't know, guys. I think I said enough tonight. I done showed my ass a little bit. So I think we reach out here and get some final words from everybody and get ready to close it out. I'd like to start off with Focus Ball. Would you like to say something, brother, and let everybody know where they could follow you and give you information out so people that want to hear more from you.
Facts. So as always, I appreciate you, Stormy B, for having me on. Salute to Curtis Hyphy and Abel Mahari. Salute to the chat and the mighty LDBC. I'm definitely going to be doing some live streams. I was off for a bit. My internet was messed up. But I'll be doing regular live streams again, more than likely with PK Boxing and MMA, and we're going to talk boxing and MMA. So I got a new video up for Clarissa Shields versus Hammer, linked in the description, excuse me, in the chat. I also got some MMA videos and for because there's a huge MMA event on tomorrow, so I got a bunch of videos for that. If you're not familiar with mixed martial arts, I got some videos to get you introduced. And I'm definitely going to be doing a live stream for the fight night. So I guess I'm going to go back and forth between the Shields fight and the mixed martial arts, the UFC 236. Hope you guys can come through, check it out.
All right. Abel, would you like to say something, brother? Let people know where they can find you and everything.
Yeah, for sure, man. But I just want to say thanks to you for allowing me to come on and chop it up. It's another great live stream, man. Y'all can find me tomorrow 3 p.m. Central Time on my channel, though, man. A Focus Ball too. Let PK know that he's also invited to come along there too. If we could discuss about MMA stuff that's going on around that too. So you bring in Focus Ball and also PK as well, though. Be nice to have him around there too. So, and all you guys in the panel there too, y'all are invited to come along. We can go ahead and chop it up. After I'm done talking about my NBA news and all that other stuff, my predictions, then we're going to go ahead and discuss about boxing, all the fights, all the good stuff, MMA. You can go ahead and chop it up, barbershop style.
All right. And what time is that again, your show?
3 p.m. Central Time. So I'll bring you a link. I'll bring Curtis a link, Focus Ball, Hyphy, and then PK Boxing too. So if you could just send a link out to him, Focus Ball, through that. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Hyphy, you want to say something, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. Just so everybody out there listening, bro, y'all don't gotta spend all day talking about dumb topics like Dillian White, who he gonna fight, and Tank Davis. Oh, I like to see him fight somebody. Bro, look on the goddamn boxing schedule. It's a whole bunch of good fights on paper that's pretty likely to be a good fight in the ring. It's good fights to watch. Y'all don't gotta sit back and spectate about niggas who's not fighting. Watch the actual good fights that are happening. That's it.
That's what's up. All right, Curtis, my main man. What do you got to say? Final words. Let people know where they can follow you as well, and let them know about your show.
Yeah, you can follow me on World Breaker Fighting. I'm the co-host of the show. 2:30 Eastern. Monday through Friday we have live streams on the weekend, and I'm gonna start doing my show on a more regular basis under the World Breaker Fighting banter called Kurt Sugar versus the World. We debate about anything. Our specialty is boxing. Great live stream, man. Focus Ball, we'll get together and link up, Hyphy, what I'm saying, Abel, basketball guy, and it was a great live stream, man. My main man, Stormy B, man, we chop it up all the time behind the scenes, man. And like I always say, same bad time, same bad channel.
All good. And I like to say salute to everybody that came out in the chat and contributed their comments and everything. There were a couple people that when I went live, they were right there waiting for me. I appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of the love and a lot of the support that I've been receiving from people who have come from so many different channels. I've seen the names, I recognize the names, and it makes me feel good that people are now like starting to chime in and see what I have to say and see what my co-hosts and friends on the panel have to say. So that's all good. And one of the things I like to mention is that here on the Stormy B-Man channel, I like to keep it more technical, speak about boxing and break them down in that respect. Not that that's not what anybody else does, but that's kind of like my angle and, you know, how I can come about with the sport and bring something that's solid for myself. So I hope to continue to grow. You can follow me on this channel here on YouTube, Stormy B Man. I'm always trying to put something out there. I even try to talk about the fights or put profile on fights that not too many other people may be talking about, simply to let you know that there's always something going on in boxing. So that's what I like to do. I'd like to say thank you for everybody that showed up and showed out for me this evening. I appreciate you all. And that's a wrap for us tonight on Friday Night Chop Session with Stormy B Man. I want to say peace.
Peace.
Peace.